The gun is already at his temple when he realizes he's about to die for a woman he met 30 days ago. Pull the trigger, Mu-jin, Director Yoon says, his voice like ice scraping against bone. Kill her, or I kill you both. Choose now. But let me tell you how a debt collector who spent 11 years feeling absolutely nothing ended up with a loaded weapon pressed against his own skull, willing to die for a South African baker who makes the best damn vetkoek in Seoul. Because 31 days ago, he knocked on the wrong door. Or maybe it was the right one. He still can't decide. His name is Baek Mu-jin, and he's very good at destroying lives. It's what he does. It's all he's ever done since he was 22 years old, and Director Yoon found him half dead in an alley after he'd beaten 3 loan sharks who'd come for his foster brother. Yoon saw something useful in his violence. He gave Mu-jin a choice that wasn't really a choice: work for him, or watch his brother die slowly. Mu-jin chose survival. His brother died anyway. Cancer doesn't negotiate. For 11 years, he's been Seoul's most efficient debt collector. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't need to. He arrives at 7 p.m. exactly, presents the contract violation, and gives them 48 hours. If they can't pay, he takes everything. Their business. Their home. Their dignity. He's watched grown men cry, watched mothers beg, watched families fracture. And he's felt nothing. Nothing. Until her. It's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday in late August when he pushes open the door to Mama's table. The bells chime, cheerful, completely unaware that he's about to ruin someone's life. The bakery smells like cinnamon and something else, something he can't identify but makes his chest ache in a way he hasn't felt since he was 10 years old. She's standing with her back to him, hips swaying, singing something in a language he doesn't recognize. Her voice is rich, full-bodied, the kind of voice that makes you forget where you are. She's wearing an apron covered in flour, her black curls piled on top of her head in a messy bun, and she's completely, beautifully unaware that her world is about to end. Sayahamba e kukanyan, kwenkos, she sings, and then she spins around holding a broom like a microphone, and their eyes meet. She doesn't scream. Doesn't drop the broom. Just stops mid-spin and breaks into this massive smile like he's a customer she's been waiting for all day. Highball. You scared me, buddy. She presses a hand to her chest, laughing. We're closed, but if you're hungry, I have some. Mila Zulu. His voice comes out flat, professional. It's the voice he's perfected over 11 years. The voice that says he's not here to be her friend. Her smile falters. Just slightly. That's me. And you are. Baek Mu-jin. Chompa Finance. He sets his briefcase on the counter between them, snaps it open with practiced efficiency. You're 3 months delinquent on a commercial loan. Total amount owed, 180 million won, plus accrued interest. He watches her face as the numbers land. This is the part he knows by heart. The shock. The denial. The bargaining. The anger. The tears. He's seen it hundreds of times. But she doesn't do any of that. Instead, she sets down the broom very carefully, wipes her hands on her apron, and says, "Eesh. That's bad timing, boss. There's no good timing for debt collection, Miss Zulu." True. She nods thoughtfully, like they're discussing the weather. But you look hungry. He blinks. In 11 years, no one has ever said that to him. I'm not here to eat? Yeah, you said. But you're still a person, nah? And people need to eat. She's already moving toward the kitchen area, pulling out a plate. Sit. 5 minutes won't kill you. I don't accept food from debtors. It compromises the collection process. She laughs. Actually laughs. Compromises what? Your ability to be human. She places a golden, perfectly fried something in front of him. This is vetkoek. My mama's recipe. Half Korean, half Zulu. Like me. The smell hits him and something inside his chest cracks. Just a hairline fracture, but it's there. I have a strict protocol, Miss Zulu. I present the documentation, provide 48 hours for payment arrangements, and you can do all that after you eat. She takes a huge bite of her own vetkoek, closes her eyes. See? Not poisoned. Just delicious. He should leave. He should slam the foreclosure papers on the counter and walk out. But there's something about the way she's looking at him. Not afraid. Not even particularly worried. Just present. Like she actually sees him. And he realizes with a jolt that shakes him to his core, no one has looked at him like he's a person in 11 years. In my culture, she says, sitting down across from him uninvited, we have this concept called Ubuntu. Umuntu. It means, a person is a person through other people. We don't exist in isolation. We exist because we recognize each other's humanity. She pushes the plate closer. So sit. Be human with me for 5 minutes. Then you can go back to being whatever that is. She gestures at his suit, his briefcase, the foreclosure documents. And something about the casual dismissal of his entire identity makes him angry in a way that feels almost alive. He sits. He picks up the vetkoek. It's still warm. The exterior is crispy, the interior soft, and when he bites into it, the curried mince filling explodes across his tongue with flavors he didn't know existed. Sweet. Savory. Spicy. Comforting. And suddenly he's 10 years old again, sitting in his mother's kitchen before the accident, before everything went dark, and she's placing hotteok in front of him, and she's saying, eat slowly, Mu-jin. Good food should be savored. His eyes close without permission. When he opens them, Mila is watching him with this soft, knowing smile. Good, nah. It's adequate, he manages, but his voice sounds wrong. Rough. Liar, she says cheerfully. You almost cried. I don't cry. Everyone cries, Baek Mu-jin ssi. Some people just forgot how. He stands abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor. You have 48 hours to arrange payment. If you can't provide the full amount, we'll discuss asset liquidation. Asset liquidation, she repeats slowly. You mean taking my bakery? Yes. The bakery my mama dreamed about her whole life. The one she died before she could see open. The one that has her recipes, her handwriting, her spirit in every corner. He should feel nothing. He's heard worse stories. Far worse. Debt doesn't care about sentimentality, Miss Zulu. But people do. She stands, comes around the counter. She's shorter than him by a head, but somehow she doesn't feel small. People care. And you're a person, whether you remember it or not. I'm a debt collector. You're a person who collects debts. There's a difference. If you're still watching this, drop a comment right now telling me if you think Mu-jin should have walked away. Because what he does next changes everything. And if this story is already getting to you, hit that subscribe button because this is just the beginning and trust me, you need to see where this goes. He picks up his briefcase. He should leave. But something makes him say, the smell. What is it? Besides the vetkoek. Her face lights up. Rooibos milk tart. I'm testing a new recipe for the Seoul Fusion Food Festival next month. Want to try it? No. Scared? Of cake? Of admitting you might actually enjoy something. She's already cutting a slice. My mama used to say that the bravest thing a person can do is let themselves be fed. It requires trust. Vulnerability. All the things you've probably trained yourself not to feel. She's not wrong. And he hates that she's not wrong. 48 hours, Miss Zulu. He heads for the door. Wait. He stops. He doesn't know why he stops, but he does. Give me 60 days instead of the standard 30. I'll pay double the interest. I don't negotiate. Then let me earn it. She's walking toward him now, and he can smell flour and cinnamon and something uniquely her. Feed you. Every day for 30 days. Let me prove I'm worth the risk. That's not how this works. How what works? Your job. Or your life. She crosses her arms. You ate my vetkoek. You felt something. I saw it. So here's my offer, 30 days, 1 meal per day, 7 p.m. If my food is good enough, if I prove I can make this bakery profitable, you give me the extension. If not, you take everything. No appeals. This is insane. This violates every protocol Chongpa Finance has. Director Yoon would be furious. But there's something about her absolute certainty, her complete lack of fear, that makes him say, 1 meal per day. 30 days. If you miss a single day, the deal is void. And if the food isn't worth my time, I foreclose immediately. She extends her hand. Deal. He doesn't shake it. Physical contact creates unnecessary emotional connections. 7 p.m. Don't be late. He leaves before she can respond, before he can second-guess what he just agreed to, before he can analyze why his hand is shaking slightly as he grips the steering wheel. That night, he lies in his empty apartment and tastes vetkoek on his tongue like a ghost. Day 3 arrives and she serves bunny chow, hollowed bread filled with curry that's so perfectly spiced it makes his throat tight. She's wearing a shirt that says, Ubuntu or die, in both English and what he later learns is Zulu. So, she says, sitting across from him again without asking. Do you have a first name or is it just Baek Mu-jin, professional ice king? I don't discuss personal matters with clients. I'm not a client. I'm a person feeding another person. There's a difference. She takes a bite of her own bunny chow. My friends call me Mila. My baba calls me Mimi. My mama used to call me Little Storm, because I was always loud and chaotic. I don't need your life story. Don't need it or don't want it. She leans forward, elbows on the table. Because there's a difference there too. He eats in silence. The curry is perfect, rich, complex, with layers of flavor that unfold slowly. Cumin. Coriander. Something sweet he can't identify. Cinnamon, she says, like she's reading his mind. The secret ingredient in good curry is always something unexpected. My mama taught me that. She was Korean, from Busan. Met my baba when he was studying engineering in Seoul in the 90s. Everyone said it wouldn't work, Korean woman, Zulu man, different cultures, different everything. But they didn't care what people said. They just loved each other. Love doesn't pay debts. No, she agrees softly. But it's what makes the debt worth having. She wanted this bakery so badly. She had notebooks full of recipes, plans, dreams. But she got sick before we could open it. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months from diagnosis to. She stops, swallows. So I opened it for her. With money I didn't have, from people I shouldn't have borrowed from. But I did it. Because some debts aren't about money. He should leave. This is exactly the kind of emotional manipulation he's trained himself to ignore. But instead he hears himself ask, what did she die from? The cancer. 3 years ago. My baba tried to stay in Seoul after, but it hurt too much. He went back to Joburg 6 months ago. Now it's just me and Mama's recipes. She smiles, but it's sad around the edges. And apparently, you. I'm not here to be your friend, Miss Zulu. No, you're here to eat my food and judge whether I deserve to keep my mother's dream alive. I know what this is, Baek Mu-jin SSI. I'm not stupid. I'm just choosing to treat you like a person anyway. She's infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. And he comes back the next day. Day 7 brings Coldest, twisted fried dough soaked in syrup that's almost too sweet, almost too much, but somehow exactly right. She's struggling with her mother's recipe book when he arrives, squinting at handwritten Korean notes. What does this say? She turns the book toward him. My Korean reading is still weak. He leans over. His mother's handwriting was similar, careful, precise. This woman's is the same. It says, add love, not just sugar. The heart knows the right amount. Mila's eyes fill with tears. She wrote that 2 months before she died. She wipes her face quickly. Sorry. I don't usually cry in front of scary debt collectors. I'm not scary. You're terrifying. You know that, right? You walk around like you're carved from ice, like nothing can touch you, like you've forgotten you're human. She's studying him now, head tilted. What happened to you? That's not relevant to our arrangement. Everything is relevant when you're trying to understand a person. Ubuntu, remember? I am because we are. I can't understand myself without understanding you. That's the most absurd philosophy I've ever heard. Is it? She pushes the plate of Coldest toward him. Try it. Tell me if it tastes like love. It does. It tastes exactly like love, sweet, sticky, complicated, impossible to eat without making a mess. And he hates that he can identify that flavor now. Your mother had good handwriting, he says finally. She laughs. Actually laughs. That's the most human thing you've said yet. Day 12 and she teaches him Zulu while serving bobo Thai hand pies, the Cape Malay spiced meat wrapped in flaky pastry that crumbles perfectly in his mouth. Say, sabobona, she instructs. It means, I see you. Not just physically. It means I see your humanity, your personhood, your existence. Saw, bona. Close enough. She's delighted, clapping her hands together. Now try yebwa. It means yes. Why do I need to know this? Because you keep coming back, buddy. Might as well learn to talk properly. I speak perfectly fine Korean and English. Yeah, but you don't speak kindness. That's a language too. She leans forward. Why are you really doing this? The food can't be that good. It's adequate. Liar. She grins. You like it. You like coming here. You like having somewhere to go that isn't cold and empty and full of people who are terrified of you. She's too perceptive. Dangerously so. I'm fulfilling our arrangement. You're fulfilling something, she says softly. But I don't think it's about the arrangement anymore. Day 18 brings rooibos milk tart and she's quieter than usual. He notices immediately because it's been 2.5 weeks and he's learned her rhythms. When she's quiet, something is wrong. Your father called, he says. It's not a question. She looks up, surprised. How did you? You're distracted. You keep checking your phone. And you mentioned he was recovering from surgery last week. He wants to send money. But he's still not working. He's living with my aunt and uncle in Johannesburg and I can't, her voice cracks. I can't take from him. He's already sacrificed so much for me. Pride is expensive, Miss Zulu. It's not pride. The flash of anger is sudden, bright. It's love. He worked 2 jobs to send me to culinary school. He paid for Amama's treatments even though we knew they wouldn't work. He gave me everything. I can't take more. Then you'll lose the bakery. Maybe that's what I deserve. Maybe I was stupid to think I could do this alone. You're not alone. The words are out before he can stop them. You have customers. You have friends. Do I? She looks at him directly. Do I have you? The question hangs between them like smoke. I'm your debt collector. That's not what I asked. He stands up. I had a younger brother once. Mu-yeol. He was 6 years younger than me. After our parents died, we were separated in the foster system. I was 12, he was 6. I was adopted by a wealthy family. He wasn't. I was too proud to find him, too ashamed that I'd gotten out and he hadn't. I thought I'd find him when I was successful, when I could prove I'd made something of myself. What happened? He died at 16. Pneumonia. Something completely preventable if he'd had access to proper medical care. I found out 3 weeks after his funeral. He meets her eyes. Don't be like me, Mila. Don't let pride cost you everything. It's the first time he's used her first name. The first time he's told anyone about Mu-yeol. The first time he's let someone see the wound that never healed. She stands up, walks around the table, and before he can stop her, she hugs him. Just wraps her arms around him and holds on. He freezes. He doesn't know what to do with this. He doesn't know how to accept comfort. He doesn't know how to let someone hold him like he matters. But slowly, so slowly, his arms come up. And he holds her back. I'm sorry about your brother, she whispers against his chest. I'm sorry you lost him. And I'm sorry you've been alone ever since. I'm not alone. I'm independent. Same thing, buddy. Just different words. Day 24 changes everything. He's eating milk tart when his phone rings. Director Yoon. It's an emergency, a debtor has become violent, and he's the only one who can handle it. I have to go, he tells Mila. Okay. She looks concerned. Be safe. He almost laughs. Safe. He's going to break someone's bones. Possibly kill them if they don't cooperate. There's nothing safe about what he does. The collection goes bad. The debtor has a knife. He disarms him, but not before the man gets a good slash across his knuckles. He finishes the job because he always finishes the job, but when he returns to his car, his hands are shaking and there's blood soaking through his white shirt. It's 9:15 p.m. Almost 2 hours passed when he should have left Mila's. The deal was 7 p.m. sharp. But instead of going home, he drives back to Mama's table. The lights are still on. She's sitting at the counter, waiting. When he walks in, blood on his hands, his knuckles split open, she doesn't ask questions. Doesn't demand explanations. Just stands up, locks the door, and brings him to the small kitchen in the back. Sit, she says quietly. He sits. She brings warm water, antiseptic, bandages. Her hands are gentle as she cleans the blood away, as she examines the cuts. You need stitches, she says. This one is deep. I'll handle it. When? Tomorrow. Next week. She meets his eyes. Let me help you. Why? Because you came back. Because even bleeding, even hurt, you came back here instead of going home. Because I think maybe this is the only place you have. She's right. His apartment is empty. He has no friends, no family, no one who would care if he died tonight. The only person waiting for him is her. And that terrifies him more than any knife ever could. I'm not a good person, Mila. Good is a choice, Baek Mu-jin. Not a state of being. You choose every day. And today, you chose to come back. That counts for something. She bandages his hands in silence, her fingers soft against his ruined knuckles. When she's done, she doesn't let go. Just holds his hands in hers, careful of the wounds. What do you do, she asks. When you leave here. What do you do that leaves you bloody and shaking? I collect debts. That's not collecting. That's violence. Sometimes there's no difference. She's quiet for a long moment. Then she says, my Baba used to say that the saddest people are the ones who forgot they deserve gentleness. Who've been hurt so badly that they only know how to hurt back. I'm not sad. I'm realistic. You're devastatingly sad, Mu-jin. It's the first time she's used his first name. You're so sad you can't even recognize it anymore. You've turned your sadness into ice and convinced yourself that ice doesn't feel anything. But ice melts. Eventually, everything melts. What if I don't want to melt? What if the ice is the only thing holding me together? Then you find someone who's willing to hold you while you break apart and help you put yourself back together. Differently this time. Better. Is that what you're doing? Trying to save me? No, Buddy. I'm trying to feed you. The saving is something you have to do yourself. I'm just showing you it's possible. They sit there in her small kitchen, his bloody hands in hers, and something fundamental shifts. The hairline crack in his chest widens. Not breaking. Thawing. If you're still with me at this point, comment Ubuntu below because we're about to hit the moment where everything explodes. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now because part 2 of this story is going to absolutely destroy you. Day 27 arrives and the Seoul Fusion Food Festival is in 3 days. Mila needs to finalize her entry. I need a Korean perspective, she tells him. Someone who understands both sides of my heritage. Will you help me test the final recipe? I'm not a food critic. No, you're a professional critic of everything. Same skill set. She's already pulling ingredients from the cooler. Please. Something about the way she says please makes it impossible to refuse. The kitchen is small. They're constantly bumping into each other, her hip against his, her shoulder brushing his arm, the scent of her, vanilla and rooibos and something uniquely Mila, filling every breath he takes. Taste this. She holds up a spoon of batter. I can feed myself. But you won't. She grins. Come on, Mu-jin. Open up. The way she says his name should be illegal. He opens his mouth. She slides the spoon in, her eyes on his lips, and suddenly the kitchen is very warm. Good, she asks softly. It's adequate. Still lying. She's standing close now. Too close. Close enough that he can see the gold flecks in her brown eyes, the flour dusting her cheek, the way her pulse beats in her throat. You're terrible at lying, you know that. I'm excellent at lying. I've been doing it for 11 years. Not to me. She reaches up, brushes flour off his suit jacket. You can't lie to me anymore, Mu-jin. I see you now. Sabobona, remember? Her hand is still on his chest. He can feel his heart beating against her palm, can feel the heat of her skin through his shirt. He should step back. This is inappropriate. This violates every boundary he's set. But he doesn't move. Mila, he says, and her name sounds like a confession. Yeah. This is a bad idea. Probably. She's smiling now, soft and sweet and dangerous. But when has that ever stopped anyone? The door chimes. A customer walks in. The moment shatters. Mila steps back, laughing, calling out a greeting in Korean. He escapes to the bathroom and stares at himself in the mirror. His face is flushed. His hands are shaking. He looks alive in a way he hasn't looked in years. And it terrifies him. Day 30 arrives. The last day. Festival day. Mila's entry is beautiful, Coldest croissants with rooibos cream. The judges taste them, murmur appreciatively, mark their scorecards. She's going to win. He can tell by the way they're looking at her, by the way they're already talking about featuring her in the food magazine. She's going to get the prize money. 50 million won, almost a third of what she owes. Combined with the profits from the month's sales, she might actually make it. He stands back, watching from a distance. He's wearing a black hoodie and a mask, trying to be invisible. But she sees him anyway. Always sees him. Waves. He doesn't wave back, but he doesn't leave either. Then 3 men in dark suits approach her booth. He recognizes them immediately. Champa Finance Enforcers. Director Yoon's personal dogs. No. The lead enforcer, a man named Kim built like a tank, says something to Mila. She shakes her head. He grabs her wrist. She tries to pull away. Mu-jin is moving before he can think. Let her go, he says quietly. Kim turns, sees him, grins. Well, well. The Ice Prince. Yoon said you'd gone soft. Guess he was right. This is a public event. You're attracting attention. Good. Let them watch. Yoon wants the girl to understand what happens when people don't pay. He looks at Mila. Nothing personal, sweetheart. Just business. He reaches for her display, about to sweep everything onto the ground. Mu-jin catches his wrist. Don't. You choosing her over the organization, Mu-jin. That's suicide. Then I guess I'm suicidal. The fight is brief. Brutal. He takes down all 3 in under 2 minutes, but it's not clean. He's out of practice with multiple opponents, and Kim gets a solid hit to his ribs that makes something crack. But he doesn't stop until they're down, until they're running, until Mila is safe. When he turns back, she's staring at him with wide eyes. Not fear. Worse than fear. Understanding. You're one of them, she says quietly. Champa Finance. You don't just work for them. You're one of them. Mila. Those men were your colleagues. Your people. And you were sent here from the beginning to take everything from me. Yes. Was any of it real? The meals? The conversations? Her voice cracks. The way you looked at me in the kitchen. All of it. Every single moment. But you still came here to destroy me. I came here to do a job. I stayed because, he can't finish. Can't articulate what he doesn't fully understand himself. Security is approaching. The judges are conferring. Mila's booth is damaged from the fight. They announce she's disqualified due to disturbance of venue. She doesn't even react. Just looks at him with those eyes that see everything. I need to think, she says. Don't come tomorrow. Don't come at all. She walks away. Leaves him standing in the ruins of her display, his ribs screaming, his hands bloody again, his heart, that frozen, dead thing, cracking wide open. That night, he sits in his apartment and does something he hasn't done in 11 years. He calculates what he's worth. His savings, 50 million won. His car, 30 million. The family heirloom watch from his adoptive parents, 20 million. His apartment lease buyout, 40 million. Underground fight clubs, if he takes enough matches, another 40 million in a week. Total, 180 million won. Exactly what Mila owes. At 3 a.m., he starts liquidating everything he owns. Day 31. The day he dies. Or maybe the day he starts living. He arrives at a mama's table at 6 a.m. with an envelope containing bank transfers, cash receipts, and the foreclosure cancellation papers. Everything he owns in the world, signed over to her. His note is simple. Mila, this covers your debt in full. The property is yours. You taught me Ubuntu, I am because we are. Now let me be a person through you. Don't look for me. The price for this freedom is mine to pay alone. Sabobona. Baek Mu-jin. He leaves it on the doorstep and walks away. Doesn't look back. Can't look back because if he does, he'll change his mind, and this is the first purely good thing he's done in 11 years. At 7 a.m., he walks into Director Yoon's office and places a contract on his desk. 10 years, he says. Full enforcer service. No exit clause. No negotiation. In exchange, you forgive Mila Zulu's debt entirely and never contact her again. Yoon reads the contract slowly, a smile spreading across his face. You're selling yourself for a baker. Yes. She must have quite a... Don't. His voice is ice. Don't finish that sentence if you want me to sign this. Yoon laughs. Love makes men stupid. Very well. 10 years of your life for her freedom. Sign. He signs. The ink is still wet when Park Jin-woo, his only remaining friend in the organization, bursts through the door. Don't do this, Mu-jin. There are other ways. No, there aren't. This is the only way she stays safe. You'll be his property. You'll have no life, no freedom, no. I know. I've already been dead for 11 years, Jin-woo. This is just making it official. Yoon files the contract, then gestures to his guards. Take him to the basement. He needs to be re-educated on what his new position entails. Wait, Mu-jin says. Where is she? Is she safe? For now. As long as you behave. Yoon leans back. You really love her, don't you? How quaint. How utterly pathetic. He doesn't answer. Because Yoon is right. He loves her. He doesn't know when it happened, maybe the first vetkoek, maybe the hand bandaging, maybe every quiet moment in between. But he loves her with a ferocity that terrifies him. And love, he realizes, isn't the weakness he thought it was. It's the bravest thing he's ever felt. They take him downstairs. Lock him in a windowless room. And he sits in the darkness thinking about sunshine and flour and a woman who taught him that ice, eventually, always melts. Meanwhile, at Amama's table, Mila finds the envelope. She reads the note 3 times before her brain accepts what she's seeing. 180 million won. Full debt cancellation. He's gone. No, she whispers. No, 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 you stupid, self-sacrificing. Jin-woo appears in her doorway. He sold himself. 10-year contract. No exit clause. Yoon owns him now. Where is he? Champa headquarters. But you can't go there. It's too dangerous. She's already grabbing her keys. How much? What? How much to buy him back? There's always a price. How much? Jin-woo's face goes pale. 500 million won. By end of day, or the contract stands. That's impossible. She stops. Looks at Jin-woo. Unless it's not. Unless I do what he did. Build something bigger than myself. Mila, even if you sell the bakery. I'm not selling my mama's dream. I'm honoring it. Ubuntu, right? We don't do this alone. We do this together. She makes one phone call. Then another. Then another. Within an hour, her regular customers start revealing themselves. The homeless man she feeds every morning. Retired CEO of a major tech company, worth billions, living simply after losing his family. The rude university student. Viral food blogger with 500,000 followers. The quiet Ajumma who never says much. Owner of Seoul's largest catering company. One by one, they come forward. We've been watching, the CEO says. Watching you feed people who couldn't pay. Watching you treat everyone with dignity. Watching you build community, not just a business. Tell us what you need. Mila tells them. Within 6 hours, she has pledges for 200 million won. Her father, calling from Johannesburg, mobilizes the South African diaspora community, another 100 million. The viral food blogger launches a crowdfunding campaign, save the baker who saved the ice prince. 80 million in 3 hours. She's still short by 120 million won. At 4 p.m., with 2 hours left, she does something desperate. She goes live on every platform she has access to. My name is Mila Zulu, she says, and her voice is shaking but strong. 31 days ago, a man came to take everything from me. Instead, I fed him. I taught him about Ubuntu, the belief that we exist through each other, that our humanity is bound up in one another. And he learned. He learned so well that he gave up everything to save me. Now I need to save him back. I need 500 million won by 6 p.m., or the man I love becomes a slave to a crime organization that will destroy him. She holds up his note. Reads it aloud. Shows the foreclosure cancellation papers. He didn't have to do this. He could have taken my bakery and walked away. But he chose love over survival. He chose me over everything he'd known for 11 years. And I'm asking you to help me choose him back. Because that's what Ubuntu means. We save each other. We are because we are. The live stream goes viral. Donations flood in. 10,000 won. 50,000. 100,000. Anonymous donors. Students. Grandmothers. CEOs. People who believe in love, in redemption, in second chances. At 5:45 p.m., with 15 minutes left, she hits 520 million won. She calls Jin-woo. I have it. All of it. Tell Yoon I'm coming. At 5:55 p.m., she walks into Chongpa Finance headquarters with duffel bags full of cash and bank transfer receipts. The lobby is full of people, her community, her customers, her family of choice. They've come to witness. I'm here for Baek Mu-jin, she tells the receptionist. They're escorted to Yoon's office. He's sitting there with that same predatory smile, Mu-jin standing behind him, hands cuffed, face bruised. Their eyes meet. His widen. No, he mouths. Go. I have your money, Mila says. She dumps the duffel bags on Yoon's desk. 520 million won. Verified transfers. Count it. Yoon does. Slowly. Methodically. When he's done, he pushes the contract termination papers across the desk. I underestimated you. Everyone does. She signs the papers, slides them back. We're done here. Not quite. Yoon stands. You see, the money buys his contract. But there's the matter of everything he knows. A decade of secrets, crimes, operations. I can't let that walk out of here. He pulls a gun. Points it at Mila. So here's the new deal, he kills you, proves his loyalty, and I let him live. Or he refuses, and I kill you both. Either way, the Ubuntu story ends here. Mu-jin moves fast. Breaks his own cuffs, they were ceremonial anyway, barely locked. Grabs the gun from Yoon's hand. And then he puts it to his own temple. Which brings us back to now. To the moment this story opened with. The gun at his head. Yoon screaming. Mila frozen. You wanted loyalty? Mu-jin says. Here it is. You pull this trigger, you lose everything. The money. The leverage. The fear. Because I'm the only reason half your organization stays in line. They don't respect you. They respect me. And if I'm dead by your hand, they'll tear you apart. You're bluffing. Am I? He presses the barrel harder against his temple. Test me. See what happens when you turn me into a martyr. The office door bursts open. Jin-woo, with the rest of the enforcement division. 30 men, all armed, all looking at Yoon like they're ready for a change in management. See? Mu-jin says quietly. Ubuntu works both ways. I am because they are. And they are because I am. You lose me, you lose everything. Plus, Mila adds, stepping forward, I filmed everything. The contract. The threats. The gun. It's already uploaded to a secure server with a dead man's switch. You kill either of us, it goes to every prosecutor in Seoul. You're done, Director Yoon. The only question is whether you're done quietly or done spectacularly. The silence stretches. Taut. Terrible. Then Yoon lowers his weapon. Get out. Both of you. And if I ever see either of you again. You won't. Mila grabs Mu-jin's hand. Because we're done with your world. Completely. Come on, Mu-jin. Let's go home. They walk out of Chongpa Finance headquarters hand in hand. The crowd outside erupts in cheers. Camera flashes. Questions shouted. But he doesn't hear any of it. Because Mila called Mama's table home. And she included him in that. They don't speak until they're back at the bakery. It's after midnight. She locks the door, turns to him. You were going to die, she says, and her voice breaks. You were actually going to. To save you. Yes. Every time. Always. That's not how Ubuntu works, you stubborn man. We save each other. Together. Not you sacrificing yourself like some tragic hero. I'm not a hero, Mila. I'm barely a person. You're my person. She crosses the distance between them, cups his bruised face in her hands. You're the person who ate vetkoek when you didn't want to. Who translated my mama's recipes. Who taught me that even ice can melt. Who chose me over everything. You're mine, Baek Mu-jin. And I'm not letting you go. I don't know how to do this. Be happy. Be soft. Be anything other than what I was. Then I'll teach you. Just like I taught you to taste again, to feel again, to live again. One meal at a time. One day at a time. Together. Together, he repeats. The word tastes like a promise. She pulls him down. Their foreheads touch. He can feel her breath, warm and sweet, can feel the pulse in her throat matching his. Sabobona, Baek Mu-jin, she whispers. I see you. All of you. The ice and the fire and everything in between. And I choose all of it. Sabobona, Mila Zulu, he whispers back. I see you too. And I. The words stick in his throat. 3 words he's never said to anyone. 3 words that feel too big, too impossible, too. I know, she says softly. I know, Buddy. Me too. She kisses him. Soft at first, then deeper, and he tastes salt, her tears, or maybe his, he can't tell anymore. Everything is melting, breaking, reforming. The ice that held him together for 11 years finally cracks completely. And instead of shattering, he finds himself held together by something better. Her. Us. Ubuntu. When they finally break apart, she's smiling through tears. Now. Let's eat. I made vetkoek this morning, just in case you came back. You knew I'd come back. Of course. You always come back. 7 p.m. every day, whether you're supposed to or not. She pulls out a plate with 2 perfectly golden vetkoek. Here. 1 for you, 1 for me. Together. They sit at the counter. She tears her vetkoek in half, hands him a piece. He does the same with his, hands her half. And they eat together, feeding each other, laughing, crying, healing. What happens now, he asks. Now. We rebuild. You help me run the bakery. We teach kids like you used to be how to bake, how to taste life. We build community. We practice Ubuntu. We choose each other, every single day. And if Yoon comes back, then we handle it together. But Mu-jin? She squeezes his hand. I don't think he will. Because you were right, you were the only thing holding his empire together. And now you're mine. But even as he sits there in her warmth, in her light, in her love, he can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. Because 3 days later, Jin-woo shows up at the bakery, pale and shaking. He's dead, he says. Director Yoon. Found in his office this morning. Single gunshot to the head. They're calling it suicide but it wasn't, Mu-jin finishes. His blood goes cold. No. And Mu-jin? They found something in his office. A contract. One you didn't know about. He hands over a document. Mu-jin reads it once. Twice. 3 times before the words make sense. It's a second contract with Chongpa Finance. Dated 6 months ago. With Mila's name on it. What is this? Mila asks, reading over his shoulder. An insurance policy, Mu-jin says slowly. You knew I might betray him someday. So he made sure he had leverage. Mila, that loan you took out for the bakery. It wasn't from a bank. It was from Chongpa, routed through shell companies. He owned your debt the entire time. But we paid it off. You paid it off, and then I bought your contract. The primary debt, yes. But look at the fine print. Look at the clause. He points to a section highlighted in red. Any attempt to buy out enforcement contracts is considered a hostile business action. Penalty, automatic activation of secondary debt collection, totaling. His voice dies. 5 billion won, Jin-woo finishes quietly. Mila, you don't just owe money anymore. You owe an impossible amount. And now that Yoon's dead, his successor is activating every insurance policy he had. Including this one. Who's his successor? Jin-woo looks at Mu-jin with something like pity. You are. The enforcers voted this morning. You're the new director of Chongpa Finance. Which means you're now the one who has to collect Mila's debt. The vetkoek in his mouth turns to ash. Mila looks at him, her eyes wide, understanding dawning. No. No, there has to be another way. We can fight this, we can. There's always another way, he says slowly. But every way forward means I become exactly what I escaped. Or we run. Disappear. Start over somewhere Chongpa can't find us. And if we run? Then everyone who helped you, your customers, your community, everyone who believed in Ubuntu, they become targets. Yoon's dead, but his organization isn't. They need someone to blame for the instability. Someone to make an example of. So our choices are, you become a crime lord, we run and destroy everyone who helped us, or I collect the debt, he finishes. I take everything from you. The bakery. Your freedom. Everything we just fought for. I become the very thing you saved me from. Mila sits down slowly. For the first time since he met her, she looks defeated. Ubuntu, she whispers. We exist through each other. But what happens when existing means destroying each other? He doesn't have an answer. Because the truth is, he just escaped hell. And now he's being offered the throne. And the only way to keep Mila safe might be to sit on it. Even if it means losing her forever. If you made it this far, if your heart is pounding, if you need to know what happens next, then you absolutely have to subscribe right now because part 2 drops next week and I promise you, the choice Mu-jin makes will shatter you. Comment Ubuntu if you're ready for this journey. Comment what you think he should do. And share this with someone who needs to believe that love is worth fighting for, even when the fight seems impossible. Because this story isn't over. It's just beginning. And neither Mu-jin nor Mila have any idea what's coming next. But I'll give you a hint, sometimes the only way to save someone is to become the monster they fear most. Welcome to Part 2, The Director's Choice. Coming soon. Sabobona.